We're being told that fuel accounts for 50% of the airline ticket price. And we're also being told that the Airbus A380 holds over 85,000 gallons of fuel, which is 130 tons of fuel in each wing, or 22 full-grown elephants on each wing, or 16 London red double-decker buses on each wing. Does that make a whole lot of sense to you? You mean to tell me that they're putting 85,000 gallons in those wings? When they pull up to refuel the airplane, they only use a 10,000 gallon tank. And it takes maybe 45 minutes to pump all of the fuel into this plane. Well, why don't we put this into perspective here? So an Olympic-sized swimming pool holds 660,000 gallons of water. And it takes about 4 days to fill up that Olympic-sized swimming pool. Well, have you seen how fast they're dumping water into that thing? It's quite a bit. Now, if it takes the Airbus A380 about 45 minutes to fill up, and it only requires about 8% of what an Olympic-sized swimming pool requires, that hose would still have to be pumping out over 1,800 gallons per minute to be able to fill up that plane with 85,000 gallons of fuel in just 45 minutes. So a fire hose pumps water at half that speed. And if you were pumping water into the wings of a plane with that much pressure, wouldn't it just destroy the wings of the plane? Think about that, guys. They're definitely not putting 85,000 gallons of fuel in those wings. Imagine 85,000 gallons of fuel sloshing around in the wings. You see, this is a military aircraft, and they are storing 9,000 gallons of fuel in the aircraft. You see how they had to put it in the center of the plane and how they have to strap it down and make sure everything's good? Because here's the thing, if the fuel is sloshing around in the wings, it is going to constantly imbalance you and it will be impossible to fly the plane. So you have to put all of this into perspective. I'm not saying that the plane doesn't use any fuel at all, but they're definitely lying about how much fuel it's actually using. So here's how a jet engine works. The shape of the engine is like a vortex, and as the air goes through, it's pulled into the engine, and the vortex geometry spins the air through the engine, compressing it and sucking the air through, which then propels the plane forward. So the engine itself is literally sucking the plane forward by constantly propelling itself through the medium of the air. And according to the owner's workshop manual, the secondary flow of compressed air accounts for 90% of the thrust produced from a jet engine, which means that the fuel isn't actually being used for much. And look at what this guy did. You see what he did? That's a vortex shape. Simply by getting the spindling thing to move, it is now able to propagate through the medium because of its vortex shape and infinitely propel itself without requiring any source of energy, which is exactly what the engine is doing on the plane. It's pulling the air through and then pushing it out on the other end. You see, the fuel is only used to get the plane engine going up to speed and then for takeoff and landing. But when the plane is in cruising speed, it's fine. And have you noticed how the engines are in front of the wing? If it was really so blistering hot and there was 85,000 gallons of fuel in the wing, why would they have the engine almost blowing directly on the wings? Couldn't it combust all of the fuel? And what about all of these people at this beach as this plane starts taking off? If you really pay attention to what happens, they all seem to be fine when all of that air that was propelled out of the engine is literally hitting them. Wouldn't they be scorched? You see, an airplane engine doesn't actually require fuel once it gets going, because it's literally creating a vortex to where the air is being siphoned through, a massive amount of pressure is created, and then it's pushed out onto the other end, which also cools the part of the engine that is combusting. You see, it's literally a vortex. And the engine is in front of the wing and not under it, so that the vortex can perfectly flow over the wing to create the propagation. But of course, this video was for entertainment purposes only. I have no idea how jet engines are made. I don't know anything about jets. This was all satire.